Eat.
So you made the choice to teach English abroad. Whether you made your choice for a job or just the experience of living overseas, there are certain guidelines one should follow to ensure effective learning in your classroom. Hi, I'm Vincent McFadden. I studied social studies secondary education at St. Joseph's University and made that fateful choice to teach English abroad after college. I have been teaching English in Korea for 4 years and have been studying a master's program at the University of San Francisco for teaching English to speakers of other languages. Because students will only be learning English at your institution, you are teaching English as a foreign language, not to be confused with English as a second language, where students could be immersed in the English language from various counterparts. Many linguists believe culture and language are linked, which brings me to tip number 1. Study the culture and language of your students. Note the differences between English and the country's native language. This will help you better understand where and why common mistakes amongst your students take place. Not only will learning about the culture and language help you be more effective as a teacher, but also help you understand the difficulties in learning English as a foreign language. This will help you develop new teaching strategies. But students may really have a difficult time with English, mainly because the students are learning what you teach them, then going home and not using it to converse. This may make you wonder, why the heck am I teaching English as a foreign language? What's the point? Well, what we're doing is creating a global community. Unfortunately, for whichever country you chose to work in, the international language is English and not your new home's native tongue. Every individual has the right to communicate and understand the world as a whole. What we're doing is providing the tools necessary to communicate with the world. Tip number 2. Reading, writing, listening, and speaking assessments are all equally important to acquire the English language. For every lesson, be sure to state the grammar rules. For every lesson, be sure to incorporate all 4 language categories and provide plenty of assessments. Remember, your students aren't going home and speaking English. They're speaking their mother tongue. Tip number 3. Learn about your students' individual characteristics. Studies have found that different interpretations of language and culture are always present with individual students. That means that not only do people take part in societal culture, but also their own personalities manipulate how they view the world. Think about it. Does every native person from your country possess the same personality? I don't think so. Learn your students' individual interests by having them take a survey, or just talk to them. You could tailor lessons to their personal interests, which will help them get more involved with the material. So now that we understand that learning your students' individual and societal culture are both beneficial, this brings me to tip number 4. Adapt the lesson to your country's general social culture. And this brings us to my last tip. Tip number 5. Focus lessons on analyzing the context and phrases in the curriculum. I think we all can agree that English has many contexts for various situations. Some of these contexts may not be present in your student's native language. Be sure to explain context regarding the curriculum. So, did you get all that? Let's recap real quick. Tip number 1. Study the culture and the language of your students. Tip number 2. Reading, writing, listening, and speaking assessments are all equally important to acquire the English language. Tip number 3. Learn about your students' individual characteristics. Tip number 4. Adapt the lesson to your country's general social culture. And tip number 5. Focus lessons on analyzing the context and phrases of the curriculum. By following these tips, you will be supporting a global community and providing every student with the right to communicate with the world.